It was the summer I turned 18. I had just graduated high school and was eagerly waiting to see what life had in store for me. One evening, I went over to my friend Jake's house. I hung out there a lot, mostly because I had a huge crush on his mom, a mature but incredibly attractive woman. She wasn't just welcoming, she was stunning for her age. My friend's mom, Elena, was a woman who could be proud of her figure, despite being in her 40s. She kept a slim, toned silhouette with curves in all the right places. She knew how to take care of herself, working as a fitness instructor, which explained her amazing body. When I arrived, Jake greeted me, and his mom, that sweet and lovely woman, was cooking dinner in the kitchen. "Hey, sweetie, come on in for dinner. I just made something delicious," she smiled at me. Jake got held up in his room, so Elena and I ended up eating alone. It was then I started noticing the unusual way she was looking at me. She'd lean over in a way that her robe gave me a very generous view. "You're a very handsome young man," she whispered before heading to her room. Her words sent shivers down my spine. Why is she complimenting me like that? She's married, I thought. Then I remembered Jake saying his dad was away on a long-term work assignment. I guess Aunt Elena is missing some male company. Jake and I were up late gaming, and as I was getting ready to head home, Elena said in her soft voice, "You're not walking home in the dark. You're staying over. I made up the bed for you in the guest room." As she led me by the hand, I felt her soft touch fill me with warmth and a strange sense of calm. Her confident, gentle movements created an atmosphere of trust, and I couldn't help but notice the grace and elegance she radiated. I was flustered, realizing I was alone with such a beautiful and self-assured woman who was clearly paying me special attention. This is all so strange, I thought. When we entered the room, I felt the privacy of the space and was further confused by what she said next. "You'll sleep here, sweetie. And expect a surprise tonight, so you'd better not be asleep." She winked and left. What could that possibly mean? I was so tired that I collapsed onto the bed and fell into a deep sleep almost instantly. But in the middle of the night, a soft sound woke me. I opened my eyes, trying to figure out where it was coming from. The room was dim, with only a sliver of moonlight filtering through the curtains, creating mysterious shadows. In the shadows, I saw a beautiful feminine silhouette and recognized Elena. "Were you waiting for me?" she whispered. "What are you doing in here?" I asked. "SHHH, you'll wake Jake," she replied. She moved cautiously, but I still heard her enter the room. My heart started pounding faster. She was in her silk robe, her hair was down, and in the faint glow of the night, she looked incredibly beautiful. I couldn't look away. "You know why I'm here, don't you?" Elena smiled, sitting on the edge of my bed. "Why?" "Because my husband is never home. I get lonely." "You know what for." I was completely flustered by her words. I didn't know where to put myself. It felt like the whole world had shrunk to the size of this room. Her voice was so confident and warm, it made me feel vulnerable. I tried to find words, but they got stuck in my throat. I just sat there, blushing. Suddenly, she firmly took my hand, and her touch felt electric. I felt her hand wrap around mine, not letting me pull away. It was both calming and intensely exciting. I looked into her eyes, full of understanding and kindness, and in that moment, all my doubts and awkwardness seemed to melt away. I didn't know what to do, but her confidence gave me strength. I stayed right where I was, feeling an invisible connection form between us, one that made me forget my fears and just be there with her. "All right then. Tonight you're going to be my stand-in husband. And that's not up for discussion." Elena giggled and moved closer. "Are you crazy? What about Jake?" "Quiet, or you'll wake my son." After that, I couldn't resist. I gave into the charm of this experienced woman who clearly knew what she was doing. You could tell by her passion just how much she had missed being with a man. and I certainly wasn't against gaining such an interesting experience with a mature woman. Just be quiet, sweetie. We can't wake my son. Okay, I managed, though the creaking of the bed was so loud we almost did. It was hard to hold back next to such an incredible woman. The next hour felt like the most wonderful dream. A satisfied Elena, with a light smile on her face, said goodnight and headed back to her room. Her steps were confident, and her good mood seemed to linger in the air. I watched her disappear through the door, and the room fell into a silence filled with the warmth of her presence. The next morning, the smell of fresh coffee and something delicious cooking in the kitchen woke me up. Soon, Elena appeared in the doorway, radiating happiness. She cheerfully called us for breakfast, and I felt the space fill with coziness and care. The table was set with hot pancakes, jam, and fresh fruit. Elena happily served us, talking about her plans and sharing stories from her life. Her voice was so warm and friendly, I couldn't help but smile back. At one point, she looked at me with a sparkle in her eyes and said she expected to see me again soon. Her words were full of anticipation and joy, and I felt a pleasant excitement stir in my chest. Elena smiled, and in that moment, I understood that moments like these are what make life truly special. I came over to visit her many more times after that, helping her distract herself from her boredom, and we both enjoyed the time we spent together. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories like this.